everybody. Welcome. It's Plant-Based Life and Style. I'm Elysabeth Alfano. Oh, but hold on. Today is actually a Plant-Based Business Hour takeover of Plant-Based Life and Style. That's right. My sister podcast, Plant-Based Business Hour, which you can get wherever you get your podcasts, is actually going to be today's Plant-Based Life and Style, my radio show. And the reason for this switch up is because I have a really interesting product that is now on the market that I want to talk to you about. Okay. Globally, we consume 1 trillion eggs a year. In the United States alone, it's 100 billion eggs. According to Statista.com, that is 290 eggs. It's a little bit more actually than 100 billion eggs. 290 eggs a year a person. It takes 636 gallons to produce 1 dozen eggs, not to mention all the waste that filters down from the hens compacted in large CAFOs. Factory farming, all that waste that is just too much waste to process for any amount of land. It's an environmental nightmare, not to mention that 1 egg has 62% of the cholesterol that you need every day. It's a whole huge chunk of cholesterol. So we have to fix this. How are we going to do it? Let me bring in my guests today. I'm so happy to have Liron Nimrodi and Isabelle Francois. Isabelle Francois is the general manager in the US of Zero Egg, and Liron Nimrodi, I hope I'm saying that correct, is the co-founder and CEO of Zero Egg. I'm so happy to have you both with me. Liron, especially you, because it's 10 p.m. in Israel. So thank you for being with me.
Yeah, 11, Elizabeth. Yeah, I'm 11. Very happy to be here.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word. Okay, so let's get into it. Obviously, we have an environmental nightmare, a health nightmare, and clearly an animal welfare nightmare. The state of Iowa alone, 57.5 million hens crammed in buildings, producing eggs that then make us ill, and the environmental damage. So we have to fix this. You have a product, Zero Egg. Tell us, what the heck is it?
Yeah, Elizabeth, so just like you said, we are here exactly for that reason, to make a positive impact on the world and create a change. What's happening in the egg category is really shocking. So Zero Egg is here to bring better option, not only for us people, but also for the environment and for animal. Our product is an all-purpose plant-based egg that takes, tastes, looks, and functions like an ordinary egg. And it's so versatile, so you can make omelette and scrambled, all the way to baked goods like cakes, cookies, and pasta and sauces. So it's versatile, it's all-purpose, and it comes also in an affordable price.
Yeah, so I'm just throwing up some images for people so you can see all the things that can be made from Zero Egg. It bakes just like you would in cookies and muffins, and to that little jar to the left of your screen, you see some Caesar salad dressing, which was so gosh darn good. And here I am biting into basically what used to be, I would call an Egg McMuffin, but now I'm going to call it a Zero Egg McMuffin. Obviously, it's not meat either that we've got there. And here's a close-up of, boy, did I devour this, and really fast. Here is a raisin muffin that was so good, and it was baked with Zero Eggs. So I love that you're saying the versatility and, all that can be done with it. But let's talk even more basics so people understand, what exactly is it? What's in it?
So our product is based on sustainable plant proteins, and our IP is all about the unique combination of the proteins that creates a product that can replace whole egg. The development of Zero Egg took several years. It was ongoing development that go through cycles of develop and test in the industry, in different industries, until we reached the point that we have this product that is so versatile that can be used in industry and food service among many, many applications.
Okay, so already a lot to unpack there. I'm going to show and tell. So just in case you're wondering, folks, it's a powder. So now, why is this such a big deal? First of all, it's shelf stable. It's very light. It's easy to ship. If you are restaurants, food service, these places that just produce huge amounts of food to feed lots of people all at the same time, university cafeterias, et cetera, this kind of thing. Oh, how great it is to have a product that is not expensive, stays on the shelf for a really long time, and all you do is add water, put it in a blender, and away you go to scramble your eggs or make your omelets or bake your muffins at large scale. So really kind of fascinating. I don't know if Isabelle, here you are joining us from the US as general manager of Zero Egg US. Can you tell us what are some of the ingredients so we know I've heard of that before. I've heard of that before. What is it really made of?
Sure. Thank you for having us, by the way. It's great to see you again. So we have a unique blend. The team in Israel worked really hard for many years to create this unique blend that would bring the best taste, the best versatility, and the cost. And this unique blend is a mix of soy protein, pea protein, chickpea, and then potato.
So I've heard of all that stuff before. Soy, chickpea, potato. This all registers in my brain. So this is not like funky, tripped out food that we should all have to think about, really. It's plants. And as we know, because we talk about it a lot on this show, all protein comes from plants. Animals do not make protein. Animals concentrate protein, but then they also go to the bathroom and get rid of the fiber. So that's no good. So only plants make protein. So you might as well just have the plants, which is what you're doing here. Chickpeas and peas and potato and soy. So it's so great.
And you're right. The health benefits, no cholesterol, low fat, low calorie, and fiber, which is essential in the diet.
Oh, see, now I didn't look up your fiber content. Oh, that's fantastic, because it's one of the issues of animal products. They don't have fiber. Wow. I think we've lost Liron, which is maybe a pity. I see her face frozen there. So I'm going to take her out. And if Liron, you can hear us, you want to hop back in, come in anytime. Okay. So 15 calories an egg, or the same quantity of an egg, versus usually about 78 or 80 calories. Low fat as opposed to an egg, which is 5 grams of fat. Low fat being 3 grams of fat or under usually. So this egg is Zero Egg is under 3 grams or under, whereas a regular egg is 5 grams of fat. And then, as I said before, 62% of your daily allowance of cholesterol comes from just one egg. So very high in cholesterol.
Definitely. And we're really looking to enable 3 key benefits: health benefits, ethical benefits with the animal welfare, and then the sustainability impact. So we're really proud about what we can bring with Zero Egg to the world.
Yes. And what's wonderful about this, you talked about this, is cost parity. So you really can't hit those 3 markers: health, environment, animal welfare, if it's too expensive and you're priced out of the market. So how long did it take for you to get it to a point where it could be price parity?
So the team, our R&D team in Israel, like we said, has worked many years with this goal in mind, to create the egg for everyone. So better for your health, better for the planet, better for the animals, and something that everybody could afford. So essentially, we've removed all of the barriers to entry, and cost and taste, being 2 key ones for the consumer. So the R&D team really worked through a lot of trials and to achieve the perfect blend that was affordable.
Yeah, it's such a key thing. We talk about it all the time on this show. The consumer cares about taste, price, and convenience. And you really have to nail all 3. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So let's talk about convenience. You've decided to launch this first in food service. Why there?
We set out to be the game changer for the egg industry, and we wanted to have an impact fairly quickly. And we thought the food service and the food manufacturing industry was where we could start, have speed to market, and then have the most impact. So, thanks for the stats that you quoted earlier on, but the food service and food manufacturing industry consume 35 billion of eggs annually. And today, it's a blue ocean for a plant-based egg alternative. Less than 0.5% of the market is plant-based or egg alternatives. So it's a great opportunity, huge untapped potential, and a great way to make an impact, on the planet as well as for the consumer, offering new options on the menu. So if you look at the egg evolution on the menu, it started with just the traditional egg to cage-free, to egg white, to tofu, and we think that zero egg is the next thing to put on the menu.
Yeah, I love this. So you're talking about demand. You're seeing a lot of demand for an egg alternative. Is that right?
So we just launched a month ago, and it's been validating. We've been ramping up sales. We've been talking to different segments within the food service industry as well as food manufacturers, and plant-based is at the top of their list. They're very interested, high interest. They're looking to innovate, and I think COVID really highlighted the vulnerability of the animal supply chain.
Yes, of course. COVID has been an incredible tailwind for all plant-based products. But I'll say, as the plant-based meat industry goes to $1 billion, plant-based milks, $2 billion, the whole industry together reaching about $5 billion of value now, plant-based eggs is still very tiny. It's 10 million. So the other numbers I was mentioning, everyone, they will be as in billions. Plant-based eggs still only 10 million, but up 200%. It's like this is according to the Good Food Institute. It's like the big winner in terms of like, okay, we got our plant-based milks, we got our burgers, we're on to sausages, bacon is coming. Okay, cha-ching, check, we got it, we know it. Where are the eggs? I'd love to hear more when we get back. We have to go for a quick break. All my folks on Facebook, you know that I will be right back after Plant-Based Life and Style, which is experiencing a Plant-Based Business Hour takeover, comes right back after break. Everybody and LinkedIn, thank you for joining us. So this is just a quick break. We're going to come right back. We are hoping that Liron can join us again. We don't know what happened to her, but she's around. She's listening in. She's coming back in. It's live, so we kind of got to roll with it and hope for the best. Okay, we're going to get right back to our radio and business show. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Plant-Based Life and Style. I'm Elysabeth Alfano, and today's Plant-Based Life and Style is a Plant-Based Business Hour takeover. That's my sister podcast, which I do every week. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. But I have such interesting guests today. I wanted to bring a little bit of business to Plant-Based Life and Style. So thank you for being with me here today. Isabelle Francois, who's the General Manager North America of Zero Egg, which is just revolutionary because we are actually going through an egg revolution. We've been talking about some of the statistics. A trillion eggs worldwide are eaten annually. The environmental impact, just outrageous. A plant-based egg from Zero Egg uses 93% less water, for example, than what it takes to make a dozen eggs. 636 gallons of water go to making a dozen eggs. And that's just one of the environmental statistics. All the waste that comes from the hens that are forced into small buildings to mass produce as if they were machines, but they're not. They're hens. So, anyways, the waste that comes from them that concentrates in the ground, just awful environmental nightmare. So, okay, we were talking to Isabelle before the break. You created this for our health because eggs have such cholesterol and saturated fat, for the planet, environmentally. We just spoke about that, and obviously for animal welfare. But how long did it really take to create? Because we're talking about it as if it was like, oh yeah, I had this idea and then it came to be. So in the Israel Tech Hub, the kitchen, how long were you there working away?
So I joined the team a few months ago. Liron, our CEO and co-founder, joined the Kitchen Hub and created Zero Egg with the team, the scientists that were working on Zero Egg for many years. It went from a prototype to a reality with founding Zero Egg in Israel in 2018. Shortly after that, there was interest to look at the US. So we've been working at coming to the US since late 2019, and we launched through distribution a month ago. So It's been a terrific journey. And so the product had been in development for quite a while, quite a few years.
And what kind of hurdles did they see in development? Because again, it's one thing to have a concept, it's another thing to really execute that concept.
I think, the history has been around really perfecting the three attributes that we've been talking about. I can't really speak to the hurdles in particular through the history, but the team was really set to develop a great tasting egg that could function like the ordinary egg and that could be affordable for the consumer. And so we've achieved that.
Yeah, it's just an incredible addition to the marketplace, which we were talking about before break. For plant-based eggs is only 10 million right now, but it's growing at a pace of 200% a year. And that's expected to explode. I mean, how many times have we heard people say, oh, I don't eat meat, I just eat eggs. And so as people shift away from burgers, etc., and they go to plant-based meats, they also double down on chicken as meat and they double down on eggs. So this is needed more than ever, actually. We also, right before we went to break, we were talking about the response from food service. And I'm wondering what you were saying, that that's a high priority for food service, that they want plant-based items. And I'm wondering what is driving that. Is it health? Is it that they get a lot of demand from customers? Is it allergens? Is it price? What's driving food service to say plant-based?
That's a great question. So there's two areas of motivation. Of course, it starts with the consumer. And so for the three reasons that we've been talking about, health, ethics, sustainability, food service want to be able to offer options for those consumers, the flexitarians, which today represent over 25% of the US population. So it's not a niche market anymore. We're not after the vegan consumer. We're after the flexitarians who are looking to make an impact in those three areas. And then secondly, we see a demand from the industry where they're looking to remove four key challenges that come with the egg in the supply chain: allergen, food safety, storage and handling, and then costs. You know, eggs have a history of fluctuating quite a bit. And so we're able to basically solve for those four challenges with a plant-based egg. And the ideal use case is to be able to replace the ordinary egg with zero egg where it doesn't make a difference to the consumer, and solve for those four challenges. And we're working with some food service operators today. They love our product in pastas. They're looking at replacing the egg in all of their pastas, so that they don't have to offer a vegan pasta versus egg pasta. And to us, that's the perfect use case. We become the universal ingredient and replace the ordinary egg with a plant-based solution.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. I'm going to riff on a couple things that you said, but first I see that Liron has tried to hop back. Liron, are you with us?
I'm sorry, I had, yes, electricity shutdown. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, well, I'm so glad that you're here. Something that I hadn't really thought about is food safety. I had forgotten how unstable, I guess you would say, eggs can be. And if they are in the fridge a little bit too long, you can have health issues that come from contaminated eggs. One more reason I can understand for food service, as you try to manage your inventories, it's so much better to have something that's a powder. It just sits on the shelf for as long as you want. So that's great. We do have to head to break, but just before we do, I want to throw Liron a question. We were talking a little bit about hurdles, and of course, you were more in the thick of it, being in Israel in the accelerator and the tech hub, the kitchen, than Isabelle. Can you talk to us about some of the things that didn't work, you tried, and whoops, we'll just go back to the drawing board?
So first of all, to develop the product, it took a lot of hurdles and back and forth and improving the texture, the taste. So that was a very, that was R&D work that took some time. And then as an Israeli startup, to penetrate the US market, that's a bit of a hurdle. So to commercialize the product in the US, to produce locally, build a US company. So that was quite a hurdle for us.
What's tricky about the US market? Just getting in here, or is it FDA kind of stuff?
No, it's just the distance from Israel to the US. As a startup, which is small and trying to enter a huge market,
yes,
that's challenging.
And all production is done in Israel, yes?
No, we're producing locally.
Oh, now you're producing in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
In
so
the US.
fantastic. Yeah, that's wonderful. We are going to head to break, and Plant-Based Business Hour takeover of Plant-Based Life and Style will be right back. I'm so glad that you're back with us, Liron. That worked
I'm
out.
sorry.
It's okay. We have kind of a tinny sound from you, but we'll take it rather than nothing. So we're going to come back to the show right here after break. Okay, here we go.
Sorry, Isabelle. Left you all alone.
It's Plant-Based Life and Style. I'm
Yes,
Elysabeth
we're
Alfano,
having
and it's
fun.
a Plant-Based Business Hour takeover on the radio show today because we're talking about the egg revolution, and I wanted to bring some business stats to just how many eggs we eat globally a year. 1 trillion a year are consumed. You don't need me to tell you that that's an environmental nightmare. You don't need me to tell you that a trillion hens, concentrated in different areas is just a waste extravaganza. So, I mean, like feces waste extravaganza. So, a really difficult situation we have with eating too many eggs globally, but we are here with a solution. And, one of the things that I'm thinking about is also food waste. Because I was talking about the other kind of waste before. So you might not know this number, but how many eggs are thrown out a year because they didn't last long enough, et cetera?
If you're looking at the eggs that are, chickens are toasted each year, it's about 7 billion chickens. This is horrifying globally.
What do you mean toasted? Sorry, I might have missed something.
It means that the chicks, when in the egg industry, you need chickens that lays eggs.
Yes.
So once it's not a hen, so then they just throw the chick away. So that's one of the problems and terrifying fact.
Yes.
It's probably along the same line as the food waste in the overall food industry, around 40%. I can imagine, if not more.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In terms of waste of the actual product, yeah.
Yes, and what Liron is talking about there is they decide very early on when there's been a baby chick. If it's a female chick, they keep it. If it's a male chick, they grind it up, literally throw it in a grinder to just throw that life away, just really in a horrible instance. So one more reason that we really need an egg revolution, which is what we're doing here today with Zero Egg. Okay, so you guys have some really good news. You've just raised $5 million. Tell me about how your raise went.
So first of all, the raise was led by Powerplant Venture Capital, which really share the same vision like ours, really believe in the plant-based world, really connected to the industry. So we are very fortunate to have them as a partner. And together with them, reinvested in the company, the current investors, which is Novice Partners, New Crop Capital, also share the vision of going forward to a plant-based world, and Strauss the Kitchen, which is one of the biggest food companies in Israel.
Yes, and they also have the food tech hub in Israel, which is where you started your accelerator program. Yeah, and people may not recognize Plant Power Ventures, but you'll recognize this. One of the co-founders of Plant Power Ventures, TK Pilan, is one of the co-founders of Veggie Grill, which is the largest vegan vegetarian chain around the United States. And I understand that TK is on your board of directors. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a wonderful person. He's been on this show, the Plant-Based Business Hour. He's just wonderful. Well, what kind of tips would you give to other small plant-based businesses who are going through rounds of funding? We keep seeing how many small plant-based businesses are raising the big bucks. You just did a big one, $5 million Series A. What did you learn from that experience that you can share with others?
I think that when you have the right people in the company, really passionate people that share the vision, and a good product in your hands, and you come in the right timing. So I think investors, sophisticated investors, will see the potential, and I think that's what Powerplant saw in Zero Egg.
Well, so you know a little bit of fairy dust there. You know, you've got to have the right product and the right team and the right timing. Therein lies the fairy dust. And of course, plant-based business has that all going for it right now. Did you ever get the sense that it was easier than you thought it would be to raise money? Because when we read about it in periodicals like Vegconomist magazine, it just seems like money is flying around everywhere to invest in plant-based businesses. Was it easier than you thought?
I think it's now the era is there is more and more interest in plant-based products. Yeah, so I saw the interest rising. I think it's now is the time to for more plant-based companies to start because yes, there is a demand in this area.
Yes. And so was it hard to raise the 5 million? I don't know. You maybe don't want to answer this question, but at 5 million is a very good amount for a small startup. Clearly you are going for a large chunk of the market, and it's a large chunk of the market that has not been answered. So I can understand why investors would want to get behind you in a relatively big way. But you've got some really solid partners there. Vist with Dan Altshuler-Malik. Hope I'm saying that right. He's such a powerhouse. And then TK Pilon, so wonderful. And you're well represented there across the United States and in Israel. Okay. Well, what do you see going from here? I mean, you just started in the US about a month ago. Are you going to be consumer facing through food service? Will people be able to see the product and it will be branded Zero Egg?
Yes, so we're investing in the US. That's going to be a key focus, and we want to go deep and narrow with our marketing. We want to partner with restaurants and other partners to tell the story and reach to consumers. So even though we're starting in food service, we're going to partner and have some exciting activations at partners' locations and so on. And then second, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're excited to do those kinds of collaborations, tell the story, and then in addition, we're building the team. So we're building our sales team and our marketing team to help
in both Israel and the U.S. or just
mostly in the U.S. In the U.S.
You're in North Carolina?
We're based in San Francisco. Our manufacturing is in Tennessee, and we're distributed through Gordon Food Service.
Yes, wonderful. So Gordon Food Service, a powerhouse, getting it to everywhere. Have you noticed any market trends, like the East Coast wants it more than the West Coast, or have you noticed any sort of market research you can give us or share?
We're definitely seeing some, areas such as Atlanta, kind of becoming like a vegan hub. It's great. We're partnering with some restaurants that see beyond their four walls and really want to create this tribe of plant-based and plant-forward thinkers, in the food service and in the food industry. I was just talking to one of our partners, which I won't reveal yet, but we were talking about activations. They have food trucks that come every Tuesday to their restaurant, and they try different new plant-based products. And so we were talking about possible collaborations, but it's just really exciting to see, folks that are passionate like that in plant-based and creating and casting a bigger net.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is such a creative time because those who are mission aligned, those who get the math, basically, who get the business equation that animal products are an inefficient business equation. They need time, they need land, they need water, they need grains. Do we feed these grains to people so that they can have protein and fiber? No, we feed them to animals, and then we have to wait, tick-tock, more land, more water, cut down more trees, which we need to pull carbon from the air, to grow more grains. Are we giving these grains to people? No, we're still giving them to animals. It's just an inefficient equation. So when people get that math, which isn't hard math, you can kind of do it like on the back of a napkin. It's not super hard to get that concept. Once they're in it, they really are in it. And so I'm excited to see that so many food service places are getting behind you, not just with carrying Zero Egg, but wanting to promote it and be creative and do engagement around it.
And we see the trend from, small restaurants to really large protein processors. And that's been the most encouraging, is really the range of operators and size of operators has been validating, in the way that we've said to go after the egg category. We want to be the expert in the egg category, and we can see the potential for at many level, at the operator level.
Does it help if people go into their favorite restaurant and say, "Hey, do you have 0 egg?"
Of course, that's
Definitely.
where we want to be,
Mhm.
and that's the story that we want to build with our partners.
Okay, so everybody, because Tom Vincel is asking me, well, how do I pick some up? This is so great because, of course, if you have plant-based eggs, then you don't have salmonella and you don't have bacteria. Come on, a vegan kitchen isn't going to have these potentially life-threatening things. But of course, you cannot get 0 egg yet in stores like Whole Foods or Jewel or anything. You can only get it at food service. So will you be branded on the menu so that people can say, oh, yes, it is 0 egg and I am ordering it because it is 0 egg? We will see that soon.
We will partner with restaurants to and support them in those efforts to help with signage and activations and being on the menu and telling the story to their customers.
Okay, and it's wonderful, folks. So if you do not see 0 egg on the menu, you let those people know that you want 0 egg and that it's really honestly a better business equation for them, because eggs just don't have the shelf life that 0 eggs are going to have as a powder. And if it's all the same but better for you, the planet, and animals, why wouldn't you want to be better for your bottom line, basically? So any restaurant's going to want that. Liron, I know that you're wanting to chime in there.
Actually, back to your question, Elysabeth, we are focused on the egg category, and we're R&D company, so we are going to launch in 21 additional formats around the egg products, and also in 22 consumer-facing products. So we're just starting. The powder is our first product in the market, but more to come.
Did I understand? Are you saying in 2021 you have more to come, or did you say you have 21 products to come?
No. We have products. We're launching in 2021 additional formats, and we are targeting 22 for consumer-facing product.
Woohoo! Stay tuned. To Plant-Based Life and Style for a Plant-Based Business Hour takeover is coming right back. Oh, it's just such exciting news. I'm so happy about it. I want to thank Tina and Jeanette and David and Tom Vincel. And I know Michelle is in there somewhere. She's always here. Okay, we're going to get right back to our last segment. Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Plant-Based Life and Style. I'm Elysabeth Alfano, and it is a Plant-Based Business Hour takeover of my weekly radio show because I have such exciting news about a new product on the market that is really going to revolutionize the egg industry. But what I mean by that is your health, the health of the planet, and the health of animals. It is a cost parity powered plant-based egg that whips up and bakes and fries and whatever you want, just like regular egg, but it's made from soy protein and chickpeas and potatoes and peas and stuff. So all great stuff that you love. And so it's a natural protein coming right from the source itself, which is always going to be plants. So, can you give us a sneak peek, Liron, of what we'll see in 2021 of some new formats?
So we're going to offer our partners a more ready-to-use items that they can feature on their menus. That's 21.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Okay. So let me ask you a couple very personal questions. Where can I get it in Chicago, and where can I get it in Los Angeles? Do you have restaurants in either of those cities yet?
Not yet, but in the works.
Okay, we'll keep working at it, please.
Yes.
That would really, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so I have a couple exit questions for you. I mean, obviously, you're focused on the egg industry, and your product. But from a more global standpoint, what kind of predictions do you make for the general egg industry for the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years out?
When you're looking at the global potential, we do see. We see the milk industry, how it evolves. So definitely seeing 0 egg as taking market share globally and reaching the same numbers like the milk industry. So we're seeing Zurich as an actor, a big actor in the global market.
So let me just talk to people about some of those numbers. So plant-based milks are now 14% of the milk category. They have a household penetration of 40. That means 40% of the households have plant-based milk sitting in their fridge right now, or at least have had at some point in time. And it is about a $2 billion industry. We're just talking about plant-based milks in and of itself. The plant-based meat industry is about a $1 billion industry. The industry as a whole, milks and cheeses and now plant-based eggs, is a $5 billion industry. But plant-based meat's about $1 billion, and they now have a household penetration of 14%. So as we talk about the plant-based egg industry, very small still, $10 million, but you're looking to grow to that 14% household penetration and then take on maybe up to 40. So yeah. And I can see with so many people having allergens and, a lot of people just can't handle eggs, too rich for them for many reasons. Okay. So another question for you. You're both vegan. Is that correct?
I'm vegan.
No? Yes.
I'm
okay.
vegan.
Okay. And Isabelle, are you sort of you flex around?
I put myself in the flexitarian.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So I'll say for Liron, let me ask you, when did you decide to go vegan, and when did you say, oh, that's it, I'm never doing this again?
So it starts with my food technology degree I did in the Technion. So I studied food technology and worked in product development several years, and I really saw the industry from the inside.
Yeah.
And how our food is produced. I also visited several slaughterhouses, and it was really hard to understand that this delicious hamburger that we are eating, how it's made, what animals needs to pay for it, so we can have this food. Later on, I also studied Buddhism and become yoga instructor. So the first rule in Buddhism is be kind and do not harm yourself and do not harm animals. So at some point, it all came together to the point that I said we shouldn't eat animals, and that's that was the time that I became vegan.
Yeah, and I think you are not alone. Actually, Israel is one of the major countries in the world for veganism, and I think it's got the largest per capita vegan identity, if you will, in the world, which is so very exciting. And to Isabelle's point of being flexitarian, before you were saying like the flexitarian market is about 25%, but then, if you add in vegans, which are small, still about 3% of the world, and you add in vegetarians, which depending on the statistics are going to be 6 to 11%, you're looking at, let's just do an average there. So let's say 9. So you're looking at 25 plus 9, 34 plus 3, 37. You're looking at 1/3, if not more, of the world is cutting out meat and cutting out dairy or working their way towards it. So you're talking about big market. And obviously, McDonald's new news of going to McPlant just underscores that. Okay, so did I cut one of you off?
Well, and I think that the new generation, the Gen Zs, I think that's going to keep kind of increasing that percentage. I have my daughter, she's 11, she's vegan. And she has many other friends vegan. So yeah, I think that's where the consumer is going.
Yes, 100%. Millennials and Gen Z, I just read something in Forbes where 60% of them make the connection that what they eat has an environmental impact. So Liron was talking about how, gosh, you have that hamburger and you just don't think that this is what goes into it, not just the slaughtering, but the awful conditions for their entire life. So the kind of no light, cement floors, kicking and beating and stuff, just the awful things that happen. And you think like, well, how is this a hamburger? And then the environmental impact, and the younger generations are willing to make that connection. They're willing to see that uncomfortable spot and say, well, I don't have to do this, which is so wonderful. Okay. So both of you, but I think I'll start with Liron. What do you wish you knew 10 years ago that you know now?
I think that everything happened in the right time. And so you can't rush things. So from my Technion degree and my career, I looked for ways to make an impact, to create a change, to impact on how people are eating. So in 2018, actually, Strauss called me and said, if you want, you can come and fund the reg. So then I know that's the next thing I need to do, and the thing that I was waiting for. And that's my channel to make an impact.
And they reached out to you.
They reached out to me, yeah.
Aha. Had you pitched them the idea, or did they think, we have this idea and we need a food scientist?
I reached out to them and I said, I'm a food scientist. I'm very passionate, and I want to make an impact on the world. I know you have a hub, so if you have a good idea, I can make this idea to a reality. And that's how it happened.
With Zero Egg. That's just so wonderful. Isabelle, do you have something that you wish you knew 10 years ago that you know now?
I had a feeling, but I wish 10 years ago I knew more about the startup world, and especially in the food tech. I think it's just an amazing community and so exciting, and I'm so glad I joined. I wish I had joined 10 years ago, but having fun.
Well, I wish I didn't have to leave it here. I want to thank you both for being on Plant-Based Life and Style, which is really the Plant-Based Business Hour today. If you want Zero Egg, just go to zeroeggfood.com to get all the information so that you can walk into your restaurant and be like, hey, I would like Zero Egg, please. I'm Elysabeth Alfano. This has been Plant-Based Life and Style. You can find me on all the socials or hit up elisabethalfano.com. Liron and Isabelle, thank you for being with me. And remember, everybody, go to zeroeggfood.com.
Thank you, Elysabeth.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so radio's over, but we're not over. Now we can relax. We've still got the podcast and everybody on socials who's with us. So I do like to ask everybody before they head out, what is a phrase that you live by if you're having a bad day and it's hard to get yourself back in the groove? Is there something that you tell yourself, Isabelle, like, okay, just remember this?
The journey is the reward.
Nice. And that gets you back in the groove.
Enjoy the journey with the ups and downs, the highs, all of it.
Yes. Liron?
For me, it's whatever you do, do with all your heart.
Yes.
So connecting to yourself, know what you really want to do, and just do it.
Yes, it's so wonderful. Okay, one word answers from both of you. You're super busy. You don't have time for lunch. What do you do, Liron? Favorite snack?
So I live in Israel. So my favorite snack is bamba. That's a typical Israeli snack with peanut butter. So that's my treat.
What is it?
It's like a puffed corn. Originally, it was coated with cheese, like the American one, but the Israeli just didn't like the taste, so they changed it to peanut butter, and it became the number one snack in Israel.
A bomba. Okay.
Bomba.
Okay, I'm going to look that up next time I'm in Israel. Isabelle?
Bitchin sauce.
Ooh.
I'm hooked to bitchin sauce with crackers or like carrots, veggies.
That stuff is good.
I mean, it's not, I've eaten half a tub before.
Yeah. Oh, woman after my own heart. Well, I'm just so excited about Zero Egg on the market. I really do think this is you're moving the needle for animals and, of course, people and the planet. And the numbers behind chickens and particularly hens, just outlandish. We talked about it earlier in the show, 57.5 million hens in just Iowa alone. You're talking about incredible numbers here, incredible amounts of suffering, incredible amounts of antibiotics and hormones. We didn't even talk about that people are ingesting. So it is time for an egg revolution, and it is so desperately needed. I want to thank you both for all that you do. I hope you'll come back on the show.
Thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, I'm so thrilled. And you're going to let me know when it's in Chicago and Los Angeles, right?
Coming soon.
And if there's any restaurant promotions that you want to do, let me know, if there's a way that we can tie in the show.
Of course.
We're far from being able to be in public spaces again, but, it would be fun to do a live recording from a restaurant that is launching Zero Egg, for example, so there are ways that we can work together in the future. So let's keep that in mind.
Great idea.
I love that for sure.
Yeah, super
Thanks,
fun.
Elysabeth.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody
Thank
watching on Facebook and LinkedIn. See you all on Tuesday. And then Isabelle and Liron, stay put just 2 seconds. Bye, everybody. Together, we're taking back our health, the health of the planet, and the health of our body.